Maggie Finnerty, President and Executive Director of the Oregon Entrepreneurs Network. When I joined OEN 2 years ago, I thought I was pretty familiar with the amazing work the organization does, but I soon realized that my knowledge only just scratched the surface. I learned that OEN has had a hand in shaping some of the state's most important economic development tools and programs. But don't take my word for it. Let's see what some of the partners we had in shaping those programs have to say, starting with our iconic Angel Oregon program.
When I arrived in Portland in the early 2000s, there were several different kind of introductory type of programs that were available. It was an interesting place for people to spend time and for entrepreneurs to kind of polish their pitch. But I don't know that a lot of business was getting done.
Eric Pozo came to me and a couple of other folks on the committee and said, you know what we need to do? We need to have a prize, a money prize.
And I can remember many conversations at the OEN board with Jim Coonan and Brent Bullock and a whole host of other individuals trying to figure out how we really could help this get started.
That was the very first time that any of these programs around the country had ever given a cash prize to the winner of the event, and it's an OEN innovation.
And we came up with this idea of the Oregon Angel Fund as a partner with the Portland Angel Network and Angel Oregon to do investing year-round in a professional, systematic, rigorous way.
Absolutely, the Oregon Entrepreneurs Network and Angel Oregon was the perfect stepping off point for the Oregon Angel Fund.
I think people may not be aware of the role that OEN did in fact play in launching the Angel conferences in the rest of the state.
In Seattle, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Amsterdam, Shanghai, and even in Cairo, there are angel groups that have formed funds to invest locally, all modeled after what we've done here in Oregon through OEN and the Oregon Venture Fund.
Did you know OEN helped launch the Portland Seed Fund?
OEN played a pivotal role and had its fingerprints all over Portland Seed Fund's formation.
To have OEN take that money from Hillsborough, combine it with the money from the city of Portland, which was donated to OEN to create the Portland Seed Fund.
And I had no idea that OEN was funding venture catalyst positions across the state.
Over the past 3 years, we've had the opportunity at the Oregon Community Foundation to partner with the Oregon Entrepreneurs Network and grow something called the Venture Catalyst Initiative.
So we have Venture Catalyst based in Central Oregon, in Southern Oregon, in the Willamette Valley, and most recently in the Central Coast.
Kind of the overarching umbrella description of the job is to connect entrepreneurs with resources.
So that's what we do as a venture catalyst, is we find these entrepreneurs, we wrap services around them, and the goal is to help reduce the failure and increase the chances of success.
And I'm sure you know that OEN has created templates for lots of programs and events.
In the early 2000s, we'd also helped to launch Pub Talk in Bend.
With OEN's help, EDCO has been doing Pub Talks for more than 15 years.
And we had a local representative on our board, Drew Child, who was the Central Oregon representative on the OEF board. And so he and I would go over and find locations for a Pub Talk in Bend.
We also love the Pub Talk model, so we still use that model that in many of the communities, Corvallis, Eugene, and the Mid-Coast area.
Whenever anybody comes to me, even now, and says, you know, Bob, I'm interested in getting involved in the high-tech area or the startup community here in Portland, how do I go about doing that? I always say, well, join the OEN and start going to Pub Talks.
So probably the most fun event that goes on every year for the OEN is the Tom Holtz Awards.
I love the networking. I love especially going to the Tom Holtz Awards dinner.
OEN has and continues to evolve to meet the needs of our startup ecosystem.
You know, it's a great idea that OEN is now focusing on this cluster approach to economic development.
Well, I'm really excited about OEN's focus on clusters right now. So you can service one particular industry, because each industry has specific needs.
And through that, we have worked with OEN as OEN is pivoting more to new kinds of investing. We too are doing more food deals, more consumer products deals, much more than we did initially.
Having
statewide reach, having a network of venture catalysts really focused on growing these industries at a statewide level, I think that's invaluable.
So how do we sum all this up? Just like the entrepreneurs we serve, OEN innovates through collaboration.
Again, I think OEN's in a very unique position to work with a lot of the entities that are already out there doing great work.
You know, that these are the organizations that connect the dots for companies like ourselves.
What I love about OEN is it is committed to the growth of entrepreneurs in our state.
There's just no other organization like the OEN in the United States, in part because you can't get the collaboration among people in the community to want to see something succeed for everybody.
I think OEN deserves a pat on the back, contrasting the startup climate now with where it was in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. It's night and day.
We understand very closely in economic development that it's a team, you know, if you're going to be successful, it's always a team sport. And I'd say OEN is a key team member and has been for decades.
I think OEN has been very instrumental in helping change the impression around the state, or change the sort of ideas about what constitutes economic development, and broaden the range of what constitutes economic development.
We are a community that collaborates to compete. And the genesis of that culture, I believe, really came from OEN.
It's really been the progenitor of a lot of these programs that we now take for granted.
I want to see the state kick ass with entrepreneurs and innovation, and I think OEN will play a key role in getting it there from every corner, from corner to corner.